A good Vachra Boisai. Ah! What about you? Do I need to do this good Vachra Boisai again? I didn't hear you saying ah. Last night was one of the world records. Hi, Nash. You just snuck in, or you were here the whole time? Oh, wow. I didn't know. Sorry. So we're here in Los Angeles. What is this place called? Das Torah? Das Torah. Last night in the Link Hall, amazing. One of my all-time favorites. It was just, the energy was out of this world. It was amazing. And a lot of people joined the Shiur. A lot of people signed up. We had over 40 people that signed up to the WhatsApp group, the locals, that a lot of them were part of the Shiur already, but they didn't even know the WhatsApp group existed. And now, Be'ezer Hashem, we're going to make more of a chabura, more of a, people are going to get together more often. We heard 2 short speeches. You can go online. I think everything is posted. One from Nash, who's right here. Very moving stuff. One from Joel. And afterwards, I went to La Brea, that's right, La Brea. And whose house were we? Dovi? Jacob's house. He does this mishmar thing every Thursday night. Beautiful, big matzah. So that was also very nice. And Be'ezer Hashem, more people learning Torah. That's the ikar. I do want to thank, again, Shlomo Lazarian, our main man here in Los Angeles. Big Bal Chesed. Yishkoach for having me for Shabbos. And Yishkoach for everything. Picks me up early in the morning for davening, waits outside with the coffee, with the mezainas, the whole thing. Yishkoach, thank you. And of course, take care of my son the whole year and more. So, Yishkoach. That was a big, my son Akiva came to the Shiur. That was huge. And you should know, he was one of the Asara Rishonim of the Shiur. He used to come to the original Shiur back in the day. So, once again, so I wanted to show you this. This was, I showed this Glatmar. What are we doing? Oh, are we in the wrong slide again? What daf do you have here, Mark? I don't want to do this again. Did I show the Belzer Hasidim? I think it is. Yeah, it's Nungim. Okay, good. But I showed this last night. Peretz Chaim Levine at. So we don't need to show it. This, I was super inspired by this. This is in Stamford Hill in London. The Belzer Beis Medrash. Bells. Okay, I'm not talking about Aguda somewhere. Bells. Check this out. And you get her nicely back. No. Pay for this people. Okay. They have a screen that comes out of the ceiling. It's unbelievable. Okay, so Be'ezer Hashem, we're coming to a Beis Medrash near you. We have it in MDY. We have it in Bells. This I thought was great. Avromi Palak. What better way to spend the Sunday morning than with Rebelli? And the thing is, Vishinantim Levanecha. We all have that. We're trying to watch the Shiur, and the kid gets in the way. It's Gival. No, you don't like this picture? You can't even see it. It's great. Anyway, Chavoid Reb Eli. Since he mentioned the tremendous effort that was put into producing the MDY tablets, we had to send a picture from Camp H in Woodburn, New York. Camp does not allow any devices with any internet access. I don't know. I got a lot of emails that people sent pictures, but I didn't get the pictures. So maybe Yosef has them somewhere, and we'll add it. And your tablets allow these 2 tzaddikim, Baruch Tzvi Norowitz and Elazar Wolf, to keep up with the daf each day while still enjoying camp. So, Baruch Hashem, many of these devices went out to campers. There are some camps that are still, no. Even though we spoke to a certain camp last year and they said, yeah, no problem. This year, no devices. It's a pure, all it is, it's a Torah device. Woohoo! Hey, shalom. What? Nah. You're alive, man. Shalom aleichem. Get over here. Watch just don't trip on the thing. Shalom aleichem. Here, bend down. Don't. Thanks for coming. Wow.
Sorry.
No. It's good. It's great to see you. I get it. Everything's gewaldic. So, these guys made a siyum here. Each finished Bava Metzia with you. 2 kids made a siyum on Bava Metzia. And Allah even went back and finished Tainis and Chagiga. Kol kavod to them. And of course to you and your amazing team. Your talent since Psachim, over 4 years. Tzvi, Hersh, Bedetsky. Unbelievable. P.S. For your 30th anniversary, we're going with the themes. Where could I take my wife for our 30th anniversary, which Be'ez Hashem, I'm going to go on Sunday. We're going to go somewhere. But we're going to keep it close to here. For your 30th anniversary, bring your wife to Camp Aish. We'll have a bunk bed for you in bunk Chav Gimel. And we'll even give you a spot on the staff basketball team. Both amazing ideas. Keep those ideas coming in. Love it. Oh, we have to give a big Mazal Tov. Big Mazal Tov. Tani Palak. If you don't know, if you're new to this year, Nebuch lost a child. I don't remember. Maybe it's, how long ago was it? 1.5 years? And it was very bad. Tough for the whole tzibur, and he took a big nechama from MDY. So he had a baby boy. Mazal Tov. Fairlawn, New Jersey. The Shalom Zachars tonight. The Olam's invited. The Koil of the month sponsored by Binyomin Rosenfeld for Hatzlacha in business. The Masechta for the safe and speedy return for all the hostages. Paras HaChodesh. L'nishma Zechariah Ben Moishel. L'nishma Zechariah Bas Yosef. By Yedidya Pereira. Please Daven. Pedion Shvuim. Yonatan Yehуда Ben Michael, incarcerated, denied bail, Ireland. I got an email now. I said that because he did a Mila. No, he did a Mila without a license. That's the problem, not the Mila. Mila is not the problem in Ireland. The Mila is, you need a special license. Do you guys also see the screen going like no? Okay, that's just me. Parents of Shavuot, for complete Refuah, for Brocha Abigail Bas Rachel גיטה, Parnasayoim, Mr. Lee Margulis, in honor of my English birthday on Shabbat Nachamu, and as a Refuah Shlema to parents. Parnasayoim, the Austin grandchildren, Lilishmas Moshe Yitzchak Ben Elio HaKoyen, our Zaidi, whose 17th yard side is Yud Gimel of the heart of the month, as a schos, for his schos, for rebellion, the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torah so enjoyable for so many. That sounds like yours. You also did one? No? Moshe Kinsbursky. That's Motzi Shabbos? No? I just saw something that said... You don't remember?
Yeah, I said something from Moshe Shabbos.
It was, something about enjoyable Torah. Oh, here's the picture of Medetsky and the two kids with the tablets. Gewaldig. Beautiful. I don't know how you found that. How did you find that one? That's interesting. He has his ways. Okay. Rabbi say we are holding Daf Yomi. We're running out of time. We have to finish here in 17 minutes. Not going to happen. Tani Rabbi Shaya, Nun Beis Amud Beis. Tani Rabbi Shaya beKiddushin debei Levi. Mesechtes Kiddushin of Levi. Noal Godar Paratz Kolshu Befanov. If a person performs one of these, let's see. So real quickly, we have Noal, we have Godar, and we have Paratz. If he did a small amount of that, Hareizu Chazaka, that's a Chazaka. So the Gemara says, Noal Godar Paratz Kolshu Befanov has to be in front of the seller. Hareizu Chazaka, we're not talking about the Chesed Gimel Shanim, we're talking about a Kinyan Chazaka. This is Gemara b'fun of in, shall b'fun of loy. What the owner has to sit and stare, he has to watch. It's not necessary to say the words, go ahead and make a kinyan, if he's standing right there. Top of Nun Gimel Amud Aleph, shloi b'fun of. But if the owner is not there, so you must tell him, go ahead and make a chazaka. Now, if the minhag is not to use money, like here in the United States, people don't purchase real estate with money. The minhag is shtar. So then you need a shtar. So whatever the minhag is, the Rashbam says, Afilu ba'isa'ir, shleim edayli shal moicher, lehav chazaka elim kein amar leimoicher legay lechazikini. Vafilu nasan leimais, leikane b'mais. Even if you gave him money, it doesn't work. Because that's the minhag in that city. Even though we learned in the Mishnah that money works for real estate, but not in a place if that's not the minhag. I don't know that that's not the minhag here in America. I've never seen a transaction done with cash. They call it a cash deal, like to get. Yeah, I just saw a sign on the street. We buy homes for cash. It just means that they're not going to go get a mortgage, but it's not like cash. You don't come with a suitcase of cash. I think the minhag here would be that money doesn't work according to this. Bayrav matana. What about a gift? Do you need to say leich chazeku kni by a gift? Again, once again, he's calling him Abba like we had the other day. That was his real name. His nickname is Rav. So Abba, what's his question? When it comes to a sale where there's money involved, you must, we said already, you must say leich chazeku kni. Matana lekolchkein. So certainly where there's no money involved, the giver of the gift, I'm giving you this piece of real estate, I want to tell you, leich chazeku kni. You have to say leich chazeku kni. Rav Savar, and what does Rav hold? Rav argues with Shmuel. Mandiyo matana ban yafayav. Oh, so that we had that svar the other day. When a person gives a gift, it's wholeheartedly. He's large. He just gives it. So he's not. Oh, I have to say leich chazeku kni. Just take it. And what does Shmuel say? Yeah, when a person gives a gift, he gives it large, and if somebody comes and takes the field, he'll replace the field. But that's when he gives it. After he gave it, he gives it with wholeheartedly, and he gives it with a largeness. But not beforehand. Beforehand, you have to say, leich chazeku kni. Zog the Gemara, I'm cutting out the jokes today. V'kama kolshu, kiddush Shmuel. Now, what's the shiur? We just said, noal goder paretz. Again, one of the ways to acquire real estate, if let's say you're trying to acquire real estate from a ger that died, a ger who doesn't have any yarshim, so his properties have, you can't try to grab it. What do? You have to know the halachas. Very, very important. Because if you don't know the halacha, what happens? You think in your mind that it's yours. You sit there for 10 years without doing a proper kinyan. Somebody comes and grabs it from you by doing the proper kinyan. What are the proper kinyanim that we learned so far? Noal, you have to lock the place up. Gadar, you have to build a fence. Or one of the three, not all three, one of these three. Or paratz, you break it open. A mashu, a little bit. What's a mashu? So says the Gemara, Kiddush Shmuel, Damar Shmuel says, Gadar v'shlim la'asara. 8 lines from the top. I'm building a wall. Before it was 9 tfachim tall, now it's 10 tfachim tall. Uparatz. What does it mean? You broke it open? I broke open the wall enough that you should be able to come in and out. That's a chazaka. Now the Gemara goes in a little bit into the exact, what exactly we're talking about. And perhaps we could restructure this whole thing. It's not really 10 tfachim. What kind of fence are we talking about? It's one of these fences like in South Africa. Anybody here was South Africa? Anybody? Never? You got to go there for the safari part. But one of the other things is, especially in the Jewish neighborhoods, the Jews live like animals in a zoo. You've never seen anything like it. I'm not exaggerating. They have fences that are taller than that wall. And on top of the fence, there's electric wires. Every single house. It prevents people from crawling into your house in the middle of the night. The house, what?
We're trying to do that in LA also now. These people are the bumps and everywhere.
That's right. First of all, it's illegal. Like in Chicago, you can't build more than 6 feet. Over there, like you can't build less than 15 feet. Literally, big cement walls and the top barbed wires. And this one kid, he told me that he came to Israel. He was like, "What's going on here? What? There's no walls in front of the buildings." And in the nicer neighborhoods, they have a little booth. Every house, a booth and a guy in the booth guarding your house. Otherwise, my friend Yehуда would talk about a lot. The guy I argue with is Chesed more than Torah. So he was in South Africa. He went to Cape Town, The last day there, somebody got into his house, this Airbnb, took everything, including all his passports and tefillin and everything. Everything, in the middle of the night. So if it's one of these walls you can't get over, you just can't get over the wall. The house that I stayed in had a door with a special lock that you lock your bedrooms from the rest of the house. So if they do come in, you're still locked and you know it's for that purpose. You just lock it. Okay, everything is okay. So if you have one of these walls, it's a brick wall, you can't get in anyway, and then he added another 2 feet to it. So he didn't do anything. What did he accomplish? Zero. Before you couldn't scale the wall. Now you can't either. So he didn't do anything. No, you know what? Before you could get through, and now he did it in a way that you can't get through. So what's this 10 tvachim, 11 tvachim? It has nothing to do with 11 and 10. It has to do with if I built up the wall to a point where nobody could get over it, then you did a lot. So what's going on here? So it's not a kolshu. It's I accomplished something. It's not you're telling me kolshu, even 1 inch. No. Before you couldn't get over, now you could get over. Says Gemara, no, this is a classic. Before, people just walked right in. I'll tell you, like, with me. I have a property in Indianapolis, it's right next to another property. So there's this fence between them. Now, the residents from the other property, they want to use our property as a shortcut. So the whole day they're going through, dozens of people. I don't know what they're doing, drugs, not drugs. I don't want them in there. So go build a wall. They come, they knock down the wall. So you build it again, you call the police. It's like a fight, a non-ending fight. So finally I put barbed wire. No, it's illegal to put barbed wire, but I put it anyway. It's illegal for them to come to my property. They cut the barbed wire. It's a mess. We came to a point where the adults can't get through, but the kids could. Like the teenagers, they'll like jump over it a little, like it's not biravcha. Now we make it a little more difficult for them, but that's the most we can do because once it doesn't matter what you do, they'll break it, unless we build like one of those Trump walls. What do they call? I don't believe that. The tunnels. Kids have tunnels in my property going underneath. Great. They used to come in, just walk right through. Now they have to actually climb over a 6-foot fence. For these teenagers, nothing. They go one hop. But maybe the old ladies can't get through. Okay, so now we established what kind of wall he built. He built a wall where it's more difficult to go through, and that's a chazaka. That makes it yours. You acquired the property through that wall. And what does it mean you opened up the wall? If both before and after people went by, so he opened it up a little bit wider, he made it nicer, that doesn't do anything. Before they couldn't come through, and now they could come through. See, that's tremendous. Sorry about last night. I felt bad. I wanted to say that I was being sarcastic, but okay, good. But it worked. It worked. What happened was, I bumped into this, I don't know, David, what's your last name? Perfect. So he says, I know what you want. I know you're gonna, don't even try. You're not gonna get me to join this year. I looked at him, I said, I would never try you. You're lost. And I walked away. So he texts Shlomo, he goes, that's why I'm coming. I'm in this year. I'm in this year. So I have good chush. I know who you have to do that to. I never did that in my life. The first time I ever did it to anyone. David, it's going to change your life though. It's going to change, I promise you. So he did a lot. Says Gemara, we're about to start a new sugya, because that's the beauty of Daf Yomi. Every 2 minutes, a new sugya. If you space out and you don't know what's flying, it's great. You just wait, then there's another 2 dots, and we start all over again. It's a new Masechta right now. No, for all these years, for the 5 years plus that the MDY, the big MDY is around, so I know a lot of people start. Yesterday, a bunch of people started Amud Beis. It was in the beginning of the Shiur, so we're basically starting a new sugya in the beginning of the Shiur. I never had where a guy showed up in the middle of the Shiur and it's his first day. That I never had. Today, there's a lot of firsts with Reb David. A lot of firsts. Okay, so great. It's very interesting that the Shulchan Aruch paskins that when it comes to locking a door, you lock, but you have to open it as well. And just locking the door of a ger, closing the door of a house, you just slam the door shut. So the Rambam says that's mavriach hari. That happens a lot, where you're walking down the street and you see, let's say somebody's light is left on in the car. You know his battery is going to go out. What do you do? It's not my business. It's maybe I shouldn't touch somebody else's property. There's a concept. Mavriach hari v'nichsei chaver. You're chasing the lion away from your friend's property. You have a mitzvah to help him out. He's not around. You would want him to do it for you. You must do it for him. That's already, and we're going to see it in a minute, even stronger. So closing a door of somebody's house, where I lived in Chicago and I used to be a contractor. In my mind, I still am, but I try to like fix on. I can't. Like I don't know how to do anything anymore. I used to build things with my own hands, but I had a lot of tools. I don't remember how. $50,000 worth of tools. All the saws and just a lot of tools. Do they have here those drywall machines that the tapers, the ones that tape the machines automatic and all that, and they rent them, but we got them, so everything. And I leave for Shabbos, and I come out of the garage, and I guess what happened was snow or whatever, Chicago got in between the eye, and so my garage was left open the entire Shabbos. It's 50,000. Tools are very expensive. 50, 100,000. Who knows? Just a ton of tools. Nothing. Zero was taken. But if somebody was a mensch, sometimes the police in the neighborhood, it's a small neighborhood, so it's a little village. They'll come. They ring your bell 1 a.m. Say, hey, you left your garage open. But it's the right thing to do. That's what the Rashbam says. To close the door is not a kinyan. You have to do it. You have to take care of somebody else's property. That's your chiyuv. Omer Abasi. Here. Brand new sugya. Where are we holding? Like 2, 4, 8 lines from the bottom of Nun Gimel Amud Aleph. Omer Abasi, Omer Reb Elchanan. Nosan tzror v'hoyel. If you put a stone into somebody's property and it benefits him, not al tzror, or you removed a stone from his property v'hoyel and it benefited the field, hareizu chazaka. We're talking about acquiring real estate, not with the typical money, shtar, by making a maisa, by doing some sort of action in the field. Here, you're taking a stone out, you're making it better. You're putting a stone in, you're making it better. So the Gemara, my nosan or my notal. You put a stone in and you prevented the water from coming in. So we're talking about a big flood, right? A flood is coming into the neighborhood. Water is just coming down. So you have the ability, you see that your friend's, this ger that died, he doesn't have a yairish, right? Or whatever it is, the water's about to come in. So you go and you plug it up. You put one little plug. Did I show you here? I have let me see where it is. I thought this was funny. This guy says, no, not this one. Oh, this I could also show you. This is a fence where we're just talking about this, the guy, you could get over it, but you can't get over it. So I found it this guy's kind of stuck. It looks like a regular guy could get over it. Guy is his age. You got to call the ambulance and the whole thing. It looks very serious. Anyway, that was that, but hold on a second. I'm looking for something else. Where was that one? Maybe, oh, here.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining me. Today our project is to fix a muskrat hole in a lake dam. This is my own personal lake dam, and over the last 30 years, I had a muskrat issue here, and about the last 5 years, I've taken care of it.
Basically, as a muscat, one of these animals made a hole in his lake, and all the water is escaping.
And so
there's a $5 trick.
Is show you how to fix it for a mere $5.
Got it here.
So you want to dig down past the hole about 6-8 inches.
He put a bag of cement and he walked away. $5 trick. Yeah, see, the water doesn't go out anymore. Oh, so if the water is escaping, well, that's the next sugya. I skipped. Water is about to come into the field. It's about to come in and you plug up whatever that hole is that the water can't get into the field. So what are you doing? You're not really helping the field. You're preventing damage to the field. Okay, just hold that video for the next line. Water is coming down the road. It's about to enter this guy's field and destroy his field. So you plug it up. You take this thing. You go like this. Is that a chazak? Is that a kinyan? So Gemara says it's not a kinyan. That's mavriach hari. Not that srova apik maimino. Let's say it rained and the water got stuck there. And you go and you undo the drain. You know, like sometimes the twigs or whatever get stuck and you just pull it out and everything leaves. So all you did is you helped your friend not having a damaged field. You didn't do anything to improve the field. You prevented damage from the field. So if you knew, let me show you the Mavriach Hari. This our artist did. It takes a long time, these things. Check this out. Are you able to see this stuff over there? But I don't know what happened to the sound. Here, watch this one. You need to know that MDY has merch. They have socks. So here, he takes off his MDY sock. Distracts them. And by that, he prevents the damage. Oh. So it's not so much Mavriach Hari as much as, Mavriach the Nezek. But okay. So says the Gemara, it's our obligation. If you see something like that, if you see something that you could prevent damage, so it's your obligation to take care of the damage. Yeah? You have a chiyuv. You can't say, I'm using that as my kinyan in the property. So every time we learn this, I like to pause here and say my pitch every single time. You make a kavachomer. If you see that water is about to enter your friend's field, you have a chiyuv, doiraisa, whatever, chiyuv, to go and make sure the water doesn't go into your friend's field. Why? Because Hashem said you have to make sure there's no damage. So what if you see that your friend is struggling with Torah? Struggling with Ruchnias. Forget the Gashmias. It's field. It's field we have a chiyuv to help. And what about Ruchnias? When a guy is struggling with Ruchnias, so we have a chiyuv to go and help him out. Plug him up with Torah. That's right. Plug him up with Torah. Tell him where we know about a shiur, trauma-free, all that trauma from yeshiva, throw out the window. It doesn't exist. It's ADD-free. It's posh. It's good for ADHD guys. The whole thing. You tell him about it, and you bring him to Torah. That's our chiyuv. So the Gemara. Elo nosan tzror dit somad lomayo, not al tzror v'averch lomayo. Either. So now we're talking about something that will help the field, not prevent damages, but help it. Sometimes the field needs water. So as the water goes in, you go and you plug it, you make the water stay there. Sometimes you make water come in. You open up the field so water does go in. So you're doing, before we're talking about preventing damage, now we're saying it's the same kind of action. It's the same stone. Just sometimes it's just to prevent damage and sometimes it helps the field. When it improves, the word is improve. When it improves the field, then you made a kinyan. Because that's what these actions are. No godar parats are improvements. And you must make an improvement. Oh. What's this? I don't know what this guy wanted to show me here. Let me see. Not this one. Oh, he just blew up the Rashbam. The Inza Ella Oise Mitzvah Lishmor Beis Chaveri Mavriach Harim Nichse Chaveri. So I said that, when you close somebody's door, that was before. Okay, so here, this is very simple. There are two fields, and there's a metzer. Metzer is a border. In those days, they would take some dirt, they would pile it up, and run it through the two fields. So think about it. Let's say there are two houses next to each other. Here in Los Angeles, two houses next to each other. I go in and make a chazaka on house number 1. Does it affect house number 2, the chazaka? No. Why not? Separate. So here also, they're flat. It's flat, but this metzer makes it separate. So if I make a chazaka in property number 1, it has no connection to property number 2. So let's see. Says the Gemara. Sorry. Now, it doesn't matter where this guy is, right? You're able to see the guy? It doesn't matter where he's standing, but wherever he's standing, that's the property he can make a chazaka. And he cannot make a chazaka in the property he's not standing on. So it doesn't matter. The knoisa kna. Interesting. Could you send, it's not a question, could you send a guy, a shliach, to make a chazaka for you? So there's a ger that died. You saw it in the news. You send your guy. You have a guy that works for you, non-Jewish guy. Run over there quickly with a shovel. Go like this 4 times, and make a chazaka for me. Yes or no?
Is he an Evid?
No, he's a neighbor guy. He has a Ferrari. He can get there quicker than you. You send him over there quick. Probably not. Why? Very good. Oh. So the Nesiva says, you're right, mamish like you're saying, there's no shlichus for a guy, he's not a shliach. But if he's doing the chazaka and you say, what he's doing is my chazaka, then it works. No, if he was trying to do the chazaka for you, he's trying to make a kinyan chazaka for you, so he's not a shliach for you. But if he's working for you, he's your worker, and you say, that work that he's doing is my chazaka, you make such a chiluk. All right, Zog the Gemara, Daf Yomi Beis. Okay, so here, check this out. If you're able to see the screen, in his mind, he wants to do a kinyan where he's standing, plus the other field. So the other field is red. Red is no. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Let's pause here for a second because Ari Rosenstein is here. Sponsored by Yisrael Shares Construction Management and Supervision and the Life Share community from Ari Rosenstein, who's sitting right over here, protecting families today before tomorrow's unexpected loss. It's a new way of doing life insurance. How does it work? A bunch of people join, and they're part of this Life Share. And if Chas v'Shalom, there's a tragedy, so they deduct how much? $20-something from your credit card? $32 from everybody's credit card, and it adds up. It's supposed to add up to a nice amount of money. It only costs you $30-something, and it can help a family. It's a way to nice life insurance, a chever life insurance. Oh, hold on. All right. Kidnovations LLC, in honor of my Uncle Reb Elchanan Pressman, official, and it's chus for Akiva Simcha Ben Fayga, who happens to be my son, and Rivka Yehudis Bas Yavachaya, my son, not my son who works for Shlomo Lazar, who's sitting right next to me. And Shlomo was very nice to him for almost 3 years already. Been working, he found him in some sushi place and gave him a real estate job, gave him an office and a computer and tremendous Incarcerated, tremendous. Now, next line, second line. Liknos is chaverta. What if he's standing in field number 1? And he thinks to himself, I want to buy field number 2. I want to make a chazak in field number 2. He didn't think in his mind he's gonna acquire field number 1. His whole intent was to do number 2. Field number 2 he cannot do a chazak on, we said. So therefore he gets how much? 0. Both of them are red. What if he had in mind to acquire it and the border? To acquire everything. I want to acquire the border. Why can't I acquire the border? I'm standing right by it. It's part of this border, is part of this land also. I'm standing in land number 1. Land number 1 is not connected to the border. You can look at the border as, it's 50-50, it belongs to both. Maybe not. Take it. Yeah. This is all nichsegegir. You have to say this is all trying to acquire Hefker property. Although the Rashbam says, I forgot where he says it. I think he says, we're talking about Nichse Ager, but it could apply to everything else also. I think he says it over here. But I'm confused already because I gave the shiur in Hebrew and it could be in another sugya. So don't quote me, but he definitely says that applies everywhere. But I don't remember if it's not this sugya. What?
Not by another year, obviously.
No. No. No, fakir. 3 years is raya, not a kinyan. But let's say I buy from you another Jew, and you tell me, don't do money, don't do shtar, just do nagel parats. Do one of these.
Without a macha. Meaning just
Forget the macha. You're telling me to do it. There's Adam here that told me, you told me to do it like that. Like chazek kni with nagel parats. But I forgot on what sugi he said it on. Boy Reb Zera. Hechzik ba'achasmem liknois oisav hametzer. I think in Rishonim arguing him. Hechzik ba'achasmem liknois oisav. No, I said it already. Take it. Boy Reb Elazar. Like 7 lines down. By the way, just I'm throwing this out there because I was learning my chavrusa today, and he was telling me, the whole kollel did 120 daf test, dirshu, which is really, really tough. Like I can't do a test on 30 daf because I used to do 30 daf tests. They were insane. And 120, and that's nothing because they just did 1,500 daf Pesach. It's a cumulative, so it's at least 1,500 daf from beginning of brachas till here. Just like what they're doing. But we have this thing called Kahoot. At the end of every daf, if you go on, there's like a fun computerized test, and you could it actually takes everybody's score and the speed you do it on, and it tells you how you rate. So if you wanna, it's like a game. Says the Gemara, where are we? By Reb Elazar, Hechzik b'metzar liknei shtei ma'u. What if you stood here? Here's the picture. Oh, this is the other time out. This he wanted to be kind of all three. And now what happens? Oh, now he's standing on the border. And he says to himself, I want to be kind of both. I want both, 1 and 2. Ma'u. Mi amrin haimetzer afser the aruhu. It's like the reins of an animal. If I have a horse I want to sell you, I give you the reins, and you grab the reins, the animal's you. Let's say I want yours. Let's say I want to give you 10 horses. I give you the reins of 10 horses, you hold it. Let's say they're all tied together. One rein, they're all tied, they all become yours. So do we view the metzer, this border, as the reins of this field, and therefore you acquire the reins, you acquire both fields? Or it's separate. Now, when it comes to a sale, and this is very interesting because we had this svara, and I remember people like, what? If I sell you 2 properties, one in Los Angeles and one in Chicago, and one in Israel, all 3, and you make a kinyan here in Los Angeles, you're kind of all the properties. How? Because we have this concept that the entire globe is connected. Underground, they're all connected. So if you make a kinyan here, you also make a kinyan there, but you have to make the kinyan here. That only works by a kinyan, says the Rashbam. Because by you purchasing that field, all 3 fields, there's a certain shibud. You become locked in to sell it, and there's a shibud, and they're all connected. But over here, you're acquiring it from Hefker. So by me standing on field number 1, even though field number 2 is very, very close and underground, they're definitely connected. If Chicago and Los Angeles are connected, so certainly field 1 and 2. But nobody's giving it to you. Nobody's making that shibud. So when you don't have the shibud, it doesn't work. Oh, here we go. Another picture. In time of the Gemara, it was very, very common to have an inner house and an outer house, like an inner room and an outer room. And different people, different families. Forget the time of the Gemara, probably in Europe, 70, 80 years ago, that's probably how they lived. That's how I understood. A lot of families used to live together. There's the outer room, so if you were lucky, you got the inner room, had a little bit more privacy. Or you had the outer room and everybody came through your room. It's just the way it was, like in the bungalow colony. No, you don't even know what I'm talking about. You guys have no clue. Anybody been in a bungalow colony? You know what I'm talking about? The little thing? What? I'm saying it was your mishpacha, but there's no privacy. It's one room. Yeah. So, so let's take a look here for a second. We have Pnimi is the inner one, Chitzon is the outer one. So something similar to what we just discussed. The guy was standing on the outer one. Knoi, of course. Wherever he's standing, he's kaina. Look at the size of his panimi. But what if he had in mind also to acquire the inner one? Think about it. Does the inside one have anything to do with the outside one? Depends. The outside one has to do with the inside. The inside doesn't have to do with the outside. Why? Because the only way to get to the inside is to go through. What did I just say?
The inner one has shaykhs to the outer one.
You're right. The inner one has shaykhs to the outer one. You have to. Okay, at least somebody's listening. The only way to get to the inner one is to walk through the outer one. You could stand. You could have a key in the outer one. You have nothing to do with the inner one. You don't need it. It's not for you. You live your whole life without ever going to the inner one. But the only way to get to the inner one is to walk through the outer one. So therefore, if you had a mind to be kaina where you're standing and the inner one, because the inner one has nothing to do with the outer one in this point. What if you wanted to be kaina the inner one, but you're standing in the outer one, like in this picture? Look where you're standing. The guy's standing in the outer one, in the chitzon. Oh, I should really push buttons here. Because green is where he's standing. He's kaina. Red, he has no connection to the red, so he's not kaina. Look at that. So if he had in mind this to acquire the house or the room that he's not standing in, so he doesn't acquire anything. Because the one that he's standing in, he didn't have in mind to be kaina. The one that he's not standing in, he's not standing in, so he's not kaina. So he's bald from both sides. But what if, check this out, he's standing in the inner one? Oh, so now if he has in mind to be kind of both, what happens? He's kind of both. Knoi. Has it been like knoi? Look at this. If he had in mind to be kind of both, why? Because you have to walk through the outer one in order to get to the inner one. Look at this. If he has in mind just to be kind of the chitzon, since he's not there. Let's see if we have a picture for that. No, he missed that one. If he's standing in the inner one, and he had in mind just to have no, I don't see it. And he had in mind just to be kind of the outer one, but he's not standing in the outer one. So he's not kind of the outer one, and he's also not kind of the inner one. Why? Because he didn't want to be kind of it. Omar Rav Nachman, Omar Rav Gedale. Wow, we're late. Somebody builds a giant mansion. This is so annoying. Check this out. So this is Hadid, whatever the guy's name, this millionaire here in Los Angeles. He got permits. This has nothing to do with this. He got permits. I was just looking for a house. Do me a favor, Mark. Could you answer this guy? Yes, we're just running late on the other share. We're going to start like in 10 minutes, the Hebrew share. No, all of a sudden I forgot to do not disturb, and I see the message. When's the Hebrew share? So this has nothing to do with this. I just thought it's a cool story. This guy decided it's like in Israel. You just build and then you worry about the permits afterwards, and you get a knas and this and that and that. But it was in Los Angeles, and he built an extra swimming pool, an extra few floors. He got a permit for 14,000 feet, but that wasn't enough for him. He built like 28,000, something crazy. So they told him, first they gave him 200 hours of community service. And then they said he has to demolish this place. You ever heard of this Maisa? It's a famous Maisa. So he sold the house as is, just for the property. He wanted $8 million. He ended up getting $5 million. And that was it. The guy, whoever bought it, had to demolish the house. But that's not the point of the story. The point of the story is, check this out. The guy builds this mansion. Let's say he invested here, I don't know. How much does this cost to build here in Los Angeles? 15 million? No. First of all, it's not done. As is, like this, the shell. 8 to 10 million, just the shell. Wow. Cement, that's the price? Oh, how long? 60 feet in the ground. Wow. Okay, well, we'll talk about it after share. He says that just to build a basement in LA costs about $1 million. Just a basement. It's like, I told him, I'll come here in LA, I'll build it for him for $800. It's just I'll mix the concrete myself if I have to. $800,000. You know how much stuff we can do in MDY for $800,000? For $200,000 profit? I'll take it. Okay, so says the Gemara. But here's where it becomes like one of these halachas that's like, The guy invests $10 million in this house. Hold on, Mark, I got to look at this Hadid house. He invests $10 million in this. But look, there's no windows or doors. Comes the guy that learned Daf Yomi, comes with one door from Home Depot, puts it in, he acquires the whole house. Now, what happened to the house? Like, who pays? So that he has to pay for the house, the investment, whatever. But the Kenyan, he worked for 3 years in Los Angeles, 60-foot casings, the whole thing. And the guy puts the door into the Ger. This is a Ger's house. This is the Ger. Boom, done. It's the Ger's property in a house. There's a beautiful property, Malibu, looking over, I don't know where this is, looking over the ocean, the whole thing, Givaldic. So the guy says, okay, let me acquire the property. How? He starts building no, the guy that put the door in. That's what it says here. And the other guy, the second guy comes after everything's done. The first guy also has his doors, but he put it in the storage. He was waiting for the right time. This guy comes real quickly with a shvacha door. Doesn't even fit this, palace. He bought literally one of these just $200 doors, put it in. My time. The first guy was only pushing around bricks and stones. Now, in those days, the paltrin was like literally 8 feet by 8 feet. That was a paltrin. So you got to know what you're doing. Omar Abdimir by Yosef. Omar Reb Elchanan. If you find this house in the middle of, I know, this house is clear. I don't like, Yoshi did this one, but I thought mine is better. Not this one. This is a palace without a door. Okay. You find a palace that a ger, convert, had and doesn't have Yarshim, and he dies. V'sabem siyud echad, akir echad, knan. And you put a little lime on it, you do some, you paint it a little bit, it becomes yours. You acquire. Why? You improve the property. V'kama. How large does it have to be? Omer Rav Yosef, amma. It has to be 1 amma, 2 feet. 2 feet by 2 feet. Omer Rav Chizdeu Keneged Pesach, right across from the door. Where else do we have this halacha, Rabbi Yisai? I'm sure everybody asks you to do it like that. You build a house, you buy a house, you have to put a 1 by 1, right in front of the door. As you walk in, 1 by 1 without paint. Yeah, you go into every house in Eretz Yisrael, most from houses. I was thinking, like, some people, they put like painting of the kaisel over there. I started looking up the halacha, and then I'm thinking to myself, it's even embarrassing for me to say it now in public. Like, you're gonna start giving people musar about putting kaisel things on the thing instead of, you don't even have a 1 by 1. I'm like, where's my 1 by 1 in my house? I used to have it in all my houses. This new one, I don't think I put one in. I have to go back and check it out. First thing I'm gonna, I know, but I think we put wallpaper over it or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think where it is. I can't remember. I think when we bought it, we had it, and then my wife got rid of it when I wasn't looking. I don't know. It's one of these things. Okay. The Chazon Ish, he used to put a 1 by 1. This is Zeichel Churban. I'm talking 1 by 1. Not this. I'm just mixing things up as usual. The Gemara is talking about improving the property, putting a 2 foot by 2 foot square of paint, you acquire the property. There's another halacha that we have, and remember this, a lot of wives don't like this, but it's the halacha. Nowadays, just like we break a glass at a chuppah, we leave a 1 by 1 in our house, zeichel churban. So Chazon Ish would do that in every single room, not because it's halacha, because he felt like he wanted to remember the churban. Says the Gemara, Omer Rav Amram, Haim Milso, Omar Lon, Rav Sheshes Vanhiru, Einim Masniso. Rav Sheshes told us this thing, and I have a great raya from the Brisa. Hamatzia Matzois Benichsia Hager Kana. Check this out. We're talking about improving property. So this is a big chiddush. And we're going to have to see how this fits into everything we learned and what we're going to learn. If a guy brings a mattress, in Eretz Yisrael, like in Ben Azmanim, sometimes you see these cars with 20 mattresses. They're just piled up, like, 10 feet above the car. You know what I'm talking about, Ari?
Ratchet it down.
You ratchet with all these mattresses. They take these mattresses and they like have a Ben Azmanim shmak. You take the mattress, you go into some field, you lay down there with the kids. So a guy takes a mattress, puts it down in the ger's property, kind of the property, not kind of the property, based on everything we learned. We learned you have to build a fence or break a fence, or you're saying no. Oh, you didn't do a Maisa, right. Chiddush is it is a kinyan. Why? Because you benefited from the property right now on the spot. Big Chiddush. Hamatzia matzois b'nichsi hager kana. And where did you find the great raya? The Sanya. Keitza b'chazaka, how do you acquire a slave with chazaka? Na'aloi minaloi. If you tie the guy, the slave ties the master's shoes. There's a guy that saw somebody without shoelaces. He said, well, what's going on? Why don't you have shoelaces? He said, I can't afford it. So he takes out this huge wad of cash. He said, I can't see you like that. I can't see you without shoelaces. And he gives him the rubber band. He says, Zog the Gemara, that's one way, is to tie a guy's shoes. You tie his shoes. Then you acquire him. If he tied your shoes. Or he took off the shoe. Or if the slave carried his clothing to the mikvah, or dressed him, bathed him, sachai, oiled him up, gerdai. Oh, I love gerdai. Gerdai is they used to have this tool, like one of these back scratchers, but it would like peel off like a layer of skin or something, a geschmacka scratch. So some clown, I don't know, maybe it was serious. I just feel bad for Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Reb Chaim Kanievsky once got a question from a guy. He goes, if both of my feet are itching, which foot has gedima for the scratch? The right or the left? So Reb Chaim Kanievsky wrote him back, Yigardeim zubazu. You should just scratch into each other. Which is also the famous Maisa where this guy was passing by the Partz's house, and he had this big back itch. He started scratching his back on the tree of the Partz's tree. So the Partz comes running out. He says, "What are you doing? You want me to put you in jail?" He says, my wife is sick, and this. I don't have parnasa. I have terrible. My back is itching. Now you're gonna put me. It's not. So Partz felt so bad for him. He said, like $100. Go. So his friends, they heard about it. That he scratched the back on the tree. He says, geschmack. So they walk by the Partz's house and they both start scratching their back on the tree. Partz comes out and says, what are you doing? I'm going to put you in jail. Our wife, or this. Jail. So on the way to jail, they say, well, what's pshat? Why you put us in jail? So to me, the answer is simple. You only use the one excuse like Bechana, her tefillah, it was her tefillah. You can't imitate, you can't mimic somebody else. But the part said, listen, if in fact both of your backs itch, so you should have scratched each other's back. You don't use my tree. And the Musar Haskell, each one take it to their own. Says the Gemara, Vihilbishoi, and the slave dressed him. Vihiniloi, and he put on his shoe. Vigbioi, if the slave lifts up the master, knoi. So we actually have a little bit of a video here. Specially made for the Shiur. Oh. No. This is the next Gemara. I'm getting confused here. It's all one big giant thing. Today I have to give 3 Shiurim Be'ez Hashem. This is Shiur number 1. After this is over, Shiur number 2. And then I have to give because I'm in Los Angeles. And Motzei Shabbos Shiur at 10:30 is already past the morning in Eretz Yisrael. So the only way for me to do it, just for those guys, not the real Shiur. Just the few people that come to these marriages have to record another Shiur today, hopefully. Anyway, so just just thinking about that is confusing me. Says the Gemara, Omer Reb Shimon. So if the slave lifts up his master, brings him down a flight of stairs, the master is kind of the slave. Look, you're a slave. You lifted me up a flight of stairs. Chazaka shouldn't be greater than Hagbah. In general, if you lift up an animal, you lift up a dog, the dog becomes yours. You lift up a bike, the bike becomes yours. Shagbah kohen b'chol makom. My Kamar, what is he talking about? This is what he means. Higbil rabbi knoi. If the slave lifts up the master acquires a slave. Listen to this one. Higbi rabbi loy. But if the master lifts up the slave like you lift up a bicycle, you don't acquire him. Reb Shimon, and that Reb Shimon says, why not? If the master could acquire anything, he could acquire a cow. Why can't he acquire a slave? And here's the video. Check this out. I don't know if the sound. It is? But I don't know for this thing. I like the way the truck wobbles. So Agba, this is Agba. If the master, you'd be kind of like that. King Agba, lift up like that, lift up an elephant or whatever. Rabbi Isai, have Gewaldige Shabbos, Gewaldige week. Shkoyach, thank you for coming. Bezer Hashem, this guy's going to be the star of the Shiur. How about you also? This is your first time also? Really? You came at a Shvach Shiur, but okay. Shkoyach. Keep on coming. Keep on being there.